down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Happy New Year! Welcome to another exciting edition of Talk Bloody to Me.
And I'm Breezy,
And
and
I'm
Matt
and
is
I'm
here with
Matt.
his ghost face.
And we're this is Matt, aka Ghostface, here with our special New Year's Eve edition of Talk Bloody to Me.
So isn't so if people are not watching, Matt is wearing kind of like a Hawaiian shirt, and then ghost face, he's kind of weird because that's the only stuff that he has for New Year's, and I'm wearing a golden
Woo!
outfit, sparklies with
Bang!
a little headband with it says Happy New Year's with my blinking lights going on.
Woo! Gets hot in there.
Oh, I bet.
But speaking of hot, you look good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about a movie and then yeah, we have our New Year's recap next week, correct?
Yep.
So stay
Oh,
tuned.
actually, not New Year's. New Year's. What? It's like next week. We're almost closing on a 1 year anniversary of Talk Light to Me. Man,
Oh,
it's
that's
been
right.
it's been a year,
It has been. It's been a year. What more can you say about it other than that? But
right?
there's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs along the way.
Yeah. Well, what
But
can we're taking it.
exactly. But Talk Bloody to Me has been growing and growing and growing throughout the entire year. And we love our listeners. We love our fans. And so big shout out to you. And we're always open for fan requests or comments or chats or whatever. So be sure to hit us up.
hmm
And
And
um
we're doing so next week. We're not doing any movie reviews, obviously, because we're doing like a year wrap up.
correct. Yeah. So I was
So,
getting confused. New Year's and 1 year, they both have year in it. I was getting a little confused, but next today is New Year's. Next week is our 1 year
yep.
uh of Talk Bloody to Me retrospective anniversary edition. We're gonna go through some stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Lots of stuff. Lots of
Exactly.
stuff.
Before that, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about New Year's Evil.
That's right. The classic New Year's Evil from 1980. I believe I'd heard of this before, but I don't think I've ever seen it before. Had you seen it before, Breezy?
Actually, I have not. I was wondering, like, okay, they have like all horror movies and any type of um like holidays. I'm like, they
Hmm.
have to have something for New Year's. And I actually like did some research, and what I found was New Year's Evil. I'm like, oh well, that's perfect because we need to do something for New Year's.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
but no, I have not seen it.
I'd not seen it before either. New Year's Evil is basically in a nutshell, it's a radio show, like a DJ. I think maybe they're on TV too, but it's like a lady DJ doing a New Year's countdown, and they're going through all the time zones of America when it hits midnight, and at the same time, some psycho is murdering people right at midnight, and then calling the radio show to brag about it. And how does it all connect? That's what you find out while you watch the movie. There's a little bit of mystery to it.
It is. It's like well, just like the previous movie that we done too. That was like a horror mystery. Same goes with this one. This one was a horror mystery too.
Exactly. This one's a little more gory, though, I think,
Yeah.
compared to Black Christmas that we talked about last week.
hmm
One of the first mysteries that mystery can't even talk. One of the first mysteries in the movie is how the hell does those kids not fall out of the side of the car when they're driving down the street?
Right.
The
Right.
openings.
I I do like the music that comes with it because it's like 80s like rock music. I do
Yes.
like that.
Yes, it's so it came out in 1980, and everything about this movie screams 1980.
Mhm.
And the opening scene is like this convertible just packed. I don't know how many people are in there, like 12 or something. And there's like four in the back, and this one guy's just like seems like he's just barely hanging on. Like I was surprised he didn't fall out and kill himself. But they're all like headbanging and rocking out, and it's New Year's Eve. It's it's kind of fun. It's a good way. It sets the tone.
hmm So like the killer he does like they're obviously like his wife was actually the like kind of like a talk show, but it doesn't seem like a talk show. It's more like a radio show.
Right, right. It's
And she was hosting like a band like all bands do on New Year's Eve.
hmm
And like some of the scenes is like they do it too hard. It's like too obvious. Like they like pushing each other around like a mosh pit. I'm like, you are guys are trying so hard.
Yes.
It is stupid.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, it's really weird because I don't know if they ever actually say it, but what it reminds me of for all the oldies out there is like a show like American Bandstand where they like play songs, they have like a band and they have people dancing and they play songs or like if you've ever seen the movie Hairspray. But I don't know if they're actually on TV. It kind of makes it sound like they're just on the radio, which if you're just on the radio, why do you have a mosh pit? But
Well,
and then they have
but they
telephones, like it's like a telethon, except they're not calling in to pledge money, they're just calling in to request.
Well, there are certain times of scenes you do see the cameraman and his, no, her son watches the TV and he's getting like a
Oh,
little bit upset for some reason. He tends up taking like drugs, like I want to say trying to commit suicide. I don't know. It was
yeah,
kind of weird,
it's
but
weird. It's like yeah, oh I guess they oh well, see that shows you how much I was paying attention. I didn't even see the cameras. No, I remember it now that you mention it. But
what?
yeah, no, I totally do. But yeah, her son, like right away before she goes on the air, he's like, "Hey, mom, I got a part in a movie," and she's like, "Yeah, whatever." And she goes on stage and doesn't really talk to him, basically ignores him, which I totally kind of get that. Like, if I was gonna be like, if I was a famous DJ and it was New Year's Eve and I was about to go on stage and do a show and someone was in my face yapping about something, I'd be like, "Yeah, piss off. Tell me after the show." But I guess it is her son, and she should show a little bit more compassion. But he's butthurt.
Yep,
He's butthurt.
yep.
There's been lots of, apparently, this isn't the first time his mom's ignored him, and he's pretty butthurt about it. And he starts putting like a nylon over his head and being like, "Am I crazy? Am I going crazy?"
Mm,
And that sort of, meanwhile, the killer is out killing, and it's a mystery who the killer is. And you're like, what does this kid have to do with the killer? He's obviously not the killer because that guy's out there doing his thing. But then why do you have this guy putting a nylon over his head going, "Am I crazy? Am I crazy?" And it does actually connect. There is a reason.
yep, yep.
hmm
Well, it takes a while to connect the dots, like maybe
hmm
halfway through the movie.
hmm
But like you have like no idea that spoiler alert, it was actually her husband
Yes.
this whole time.
Yep.
And I'm like, I found that out during halfway through the movie. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And he's like Ted Bundy in a way because like every like say like California, no, what hits New Year's first?
New York.
New York. So New York, so like how it plays out, like he will go to some place and they hit New Year's, and then he will call and say, "Yep, I'm going to kill this person," but it's in a different voice, like
hmm
Ghostface.
Yeah.
And then the police are trying to track him, but
Uh-huh.
that first New Year's Eve kill, he called into the radio show,
Yeah.
and
And he oh go
yeah,
ahead.
go on.
Oh, I was gonna say he had something in his mouth. It made him sound like an electric kazoo. He's like, "Hello," and his voice was all like weird. And then he's like, "This is evil. You can
Yep.
call me evil."
Yeah.
Hence
It's
New Year's Evil. That's him.
yep. Hmm.
Yeah. So it turns out, spoiler alert, if you so about there's a part in the movie where she walks into her bedroom and her son's there and she makes the comment, "Oh, I forgot you were even here." And I was thinking, so did I. I forgot he was even there too. And then it's like, oh, I know why he's there because they mention a couple times, like he says, "I'm gonna go call my dad." And then he's like, "Oh, dad's drunk," or like, "Oh, dad's on drugs," or something like that. They mention it a couple times, just sort of a throwaway line, like he says, like, "Oh, I'm gonna call dad. Oh, he's wasted." And then it's like, oh, the killer's his dad. I get it now. But so, what were some of your favorite scenes?
I don't really have a favorite scene in this particular whole movie besides the music.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of like the whole like how they brought out like New Year's Eve, like how the killer does, oh, at this time at this town at oh they
Yep.
hit New Year's Eve and then he kills, but yet in the middle of the killing, he ends up taking this big huge boombox and record.
Yep.
So like then he calls the radio show and then he plays it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that idea.
I do too. Yeah,
Like
it's New York, Chicago, Vail, Colorado, and then LA where the radio station is, I think. Or Hollywood, maybe.
I'm sorry, but how can you travel that in a car?
I know.
That is so
Right. Maybe
impossible.
he was just faking it. He was just in California the whole time and pretending. But they do say
Right?
no, but they do say something. They make a line, something about a killer halfway across the country or something like that. I don't know. Something's weird.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's like Ted Bundy or something? Because,
Yeah.
but then again, it's New Year's Eve. How can you do that all the way down, like from New York to California?
Yep. And he deliberately targets women
Yep.
because he's mad at his wife, and so he hates all women in general. Um, Probably my favorite part is the drive.
That killing part.
Yeah, where so
Oh
like
yeah.
there's like a guy and a girl in the backseat of the car in the drive-in going at it, and he comes in and like basically yanks the guy out of the or does the guy jump out on his own or does he pull the guy out? But he basically gets in the driver's seat and drives away with the girl still in the back seat, and then ends up killing her. But it's just sort of
There's
like
technically two.
bye.
There's technically two of them because that killer went to the bar
Okay.
and he was talking to this like
No,
really
that's it.
cuckoo.
That's a different part. That's two different
Oh,
parts.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But I know what you're
Yes,
talking. Why
yes,
don't you
yes.
talk about that part since you're already talking about it?
Oh, so that he went to this bar and he, I think he was in Chicago at this time,
Yeah. Yep.
and like he was talking to this like chick, and she's like cuckoo. She's like annoying to me. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It's
She
freaking
kind of
annoying.
sounded like Harley Quinn. She kind of a Harley. She's like, "Hey, what's up?" I can't do a Harley Quinn voice, but if you've ever heard Harley
Hi.
Quinn,
Hey, what's that? No, she's like, oh my God, oh my God, hey, what's up? Oh my God. I'm like,
that's actually pretty accurate. That's pretty close.
I cannot stand those women. Sorry if you guys are listening, but tame it.
Right. You tell him.
What?
Yeah.
But um, yeah. So they both got in the car. Her and her friend got in the car. No, her roommate. It was her
Oh,
roommate.
that's right. Yep.
Yep. And then they got in the car, and then they went to the liquor store.
Oh,
And
and
then
and he's like watching the clock. He's like, because it's getting closer and closer to midnight, and they're like, he's dilly dallying with these two because he wasn't expecting to pick up the roommate, and so he's like, do. He's like getting antsy, and then she's like, let's make a stop, and he's like, perfect.
yep, yep. Well, and then her roommate went into the liquor store, and then he put a fucking plastic bag over her head. There she goes. And then
Yep,
the car went bye bye. And
yep.
then she comes out, and
Mhm,
looking for the vehicle. I'm like, whoa, well, she's like looking like, what the fuck did they leave without me? Well,
mhm.
then she went to like the dumpster, and there she was, and there's a killer.
Yep. That part's kind of creepy actually. Just because of how well, first of all, I gotta point out the ridiculous. He says he's like, "Oh, you wanna what's he say? Something like you wanna get high, you wanna smoke some weed or something?" And then she's like, "Sure, that sounds good." And then he pulls out like this massive like freaking Target shopping bag, like you would actually carry weed and something like, except it's clear, but it's that size. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, this is some really good stuff." And then when he puts it over her head and is suffocating her, you can see in the bottom of the bag there's like some green something that doesn't look anything at all like weed. It's way too bright green. It looks almost like a fake golf course turf or something is in there. It's like that is definitely not, it's not the right color, it's not the right shape, it's not anything about that is right. But they did go to the trouble of throwing something green in the bag just because otherwise it wouldn't have been weed, I guess.
Well, don't we all wish it was weed?
Right, exactly. You need a little weed watching
Right.
this
Yeah.
movie. But no, the part that was creepy was she comes like just if you kind of imagine if this was you in real life, she comes out of the liquor store, the car's gone, and so then she follows the trail to the dumpster, and then when she lifts up the lid, the guy's in there, and he's like, "Hi!" and like jumps out and grabs her. That would be fucking scary. Don't
That
expect
would
to
scare
see
the
a
shit
guy.
out of me, actually.
I'd probably just punch him in the face. I'd slam the lid down on his head. What would you
No,
do in this situation?
if say like my friend or roommate, which I don't do roommates, so my friend, if my friend, I'll be like first because I read people really good. I'll be
Mhm.
like, no, you're not going with this dude. This dude is like crazy, and
Mhm.
don't do it. Oh,
No.
please, fine. Oh, yeah. Then I get in the vehicle, and then I'd be like sitting there like awkwardly, like I do not like this. And then I would go look at her, and all of a sudden the car's gone. I'd be like, my first thought would be like, did they leave without me?
Hmm.
Or are they just take off somewhere to have sex?
Right.
If I start walking around and up like open up the dumpster and she's like dead, I'd be like, and then he pops up, I'm gonna scream, and then I'll be like, I'm probably gonna get killed, but
Right. And then you got to remember this is 1980 because if this is 2024, you'd be like, pull out your phone. Hey, where'd you guys go? What the fuck?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
okay, come back. I'm out here. Yeah, okay, bye. Wait, they're not answering. Now I'm scared. What would you rate this movie?
Consider how I like it, I would give it about, I don't know, a 7.
So I spent the whole day thinking about what was I going to rate this. And last week I gave Black Christmas a 5. And I was like, well, do I like this better or do I like this worse? And I was kind of thinking I liked it a little better. So I was going to give it a 6. But then later I kind of thought I liked it a little worse. So I was going to give it a 4. And then I finally decided, you know what? I think I like it exactly the same. I'm going to give it a 5. So New Year's Evil, 5.
Yeah, and I give mine a 7.
7. It has more gore than Black Christmas, but it's still also kind of slow. And Black Christmas had John Saxon. This doesn't. And this one's
Yeah,
a little bit more
yeah,
goofy. Oh, I did want to mention the music. They describe it as new wave music, but really they play punk, they play metal, they play blues even. The kids mosh pit to a blues song for some reason. But
yeah, no,
exactly. At no point do
no.
they play new wave, but that's what they describe it as.
Unless you want to do a wave.
There you
Woo!
go. Woo! There's like a part where he plays the radio, like totally backtracking after we've done our rating, but he turns on the radio and they're playing like this really slow, like bluesy song, instrumental, and he's like slow dancing with the nurse, his first victim. And then they show the crowd, and it's like all these like punks, and they're all just kind of slow mosh pitting. Like it almost looks like they were playing a completely different song and then just played this music over the top of it after the fact. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, it was the whole dance part, and those people are just they're just playing it way too hard.
Right. Exactly.
And
The one,
it's so blatantly obvious.
exactly. Exactly. And the one guy they keep showing looks like he's about 57 years old. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just
Oh
kind of
no,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Good for him. When I'm maybe that'll be me. I'm only a couple years away. Anyway, so there you have it. New Year's Evil.
Hmm.
We appreciate all our fans. We'd love it if you like, share, subscribe. You can follow on various platforms. You can always request. If you sent us a request once, you can request again. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Facebook. Yep,
We're on pretty much every podcast platform you can think of. If you see one that we're not on, let us know and I will get us on there.
you're right.
Because I got us on iHeartRadio after we were told about it. So,
Yep, yep.
all right. Thanks so much for listening.
And thank you, and happy New Year's, and stay safe and stay
Yep.
traveling and wherever you are. And happy New Year's. I had to do that.